At 21, people expect you to have your life figured out, or at least pretend that you do. You're supposed to be finishing degrees, starting careers, confidently following some kind of plan. And over a year ago, it looked like I had one. I was teaching, I had a job, I had structure. To other people, it probably looked like I knew exactly what I was doing. But the problem was, it only looked that way from the outside. Deep down, I knew something didn't feel right. And it's not in a dramatic way. I didn't wake up one morning and decide to change my whole life. It was more like a thought I couldn't shake. If I already feel stuck now, what happens if I continue to stay here? And that question scared me because I already knew the answer. So I made a decision that looked highly questionable to almost everyone around me. I left teaching, I walked away from the front of the class, and I went back to school. Now I remember walking into class on my very first day, looking around at the classmates who were years younger than me and thinking, wow, how did my life end up here? Well, obviously because I enrolled at Ascend, but you get what I mean. For years, I had been the one standing in front of the classroom. And then there I was, sitting at a desk again, taking notes, doing homework, and preparing for exams most people my age had already finished. And I would love to tell you that I felt brave. But most of the time, I just felt uncertain. Because when you start again, the hardest part isn't always the work itself. Sometimes, the hardest part is walking away from a life that you spent years building. Kitchen was stable, it was respectable, and you get new routine. So even when it didn't feel right anymore, it still felt safer than stepping into something unknown. And I think this is where many of us get stuck. We aren't staying because we're afraid. We're staying because we're waiting for fear to disappear. And fear rarely leaves before we take action. Sometimes you have to decide why you're still afraid. For a long time, I told myself I was being practical. But I was just scared. I kept telling myself, stay a little longer. At least it's safe here. It's not that bad. And that's how we choose the unknown angel, the no devil over the unknown angel. We choose the life we already know because we're afraid of what happens if we step into the unknown. This the unknown asks us to risk being misunderstood. It asks us to start again, and it asks us to admit that what used to work for us might not work anymore. So let me ask you this. What are you tolerating today simply because you're afraid of what happens if you let go of the familiar? And for me, that was the question I had to come face to face with. I wasn't staying because I was happy. I was staying because leaving meant I have to face the unknown. And suddenly, the unknown makes us feel like we need more time, more proof, more confidence, more signs. But at some point, I realized something. Certainty is not what changes your life. Decision does. Not a perfect decision, not a decision with every step planned ahead. Just one honest decision that says, this I feel familiar, but this is no longer where I want to be now. I used to think starting over meant I had fallen behind, but one story changed the way I saw that. A few years ago, I read about a woman named Doreen Beachy. She started ballet at 61 years old. Not as a child, not as a teenager, at 61. When I first read about her, I thought it was inspiring. But I also thought it had nothing to do with me at the time. But now, I think I understand why her story stayed with me for so long. See, it wasn't really about ballet. It was about giving yourself the permission to rewrite the timeline. Because a timeline is not a rule. It's just an idea that we were given. An idea that says there's a right age to study, to succeed, to know who you are, and the right age to begin. But we all know that real life really works that way. Some people start early, some start late, some start over, and some people spend years on a path before they realize they want something different. But that doesn't mean they were wrong before. That doesn't mean they failed. It means they changed. And changing your path isn't always a sign that you were wrong before. It's a sign that says you're finally being honest now. So today, I'm not exactly where people expected me to be at 21. I'm sitting for exams that most people took years ago, and maybe the industry varies me a little, but I don't think I'm behind anymore because I feel like I'm finally moving. Rewriting your timeline isn't about proving people wrong. It's not about catching up to everyone else, and it's not about making your life look impressive from the outside. It's actually about recognizing when the path you're on no longer reflects the person you're becoming. So if there's something in your life that you're outgrowing, I'm not here to tell you to destroy everything and start for tomorrow. I will be reckless. And honestly, I don't think every uncomfortable feeling needs a dramatic answer. But I do think you should pay attention to that feeling. So maybe you don't need certainty before you begin. Maybe you just need one decision. The decision to give yourself permission, the decision to try again, and the decision to choose the unknown angel, even if the known double feels safer. Thank you.